If he wanted to, he would. Maybe yes, maybe no. Yes, it is the case that sometimes when people are inconsistent with us or who don't show up for us, they're really demonstrating to us a lack of care for the relationship and a lack of care for us. But there's another side to this story, which is if he wanted to, more than he was afraid of change and more than he was afraid of the risks associated with intimacy, the risks associated with abandonment, betrayal, and neglect, he would. Let me explain. Oftentimes we see hot and cold patterns of behavior from people who have what we would call an avoidant attachment style, meaning early on in their childhood development, they experience an inconsistent or unavailable caregiver. And as a result of this person not being able to show up for the child comes to fear closeness and intimacy and associate it with loss, with abandonment, betrayal, and neglect. And so a part of their psyche develops defense mechanisms that help them to cope with this threat by bracing against intimacy, by keeping it at an arm's length, which translates into hot and cold with people, inconsistent behaviors, breadcrumbing behaviors, which can be really confusing for those who love this person and who desire closeness with them. Now, people with avoidant attachment styles, they want love and belonging just as much as anybody else, but these behaviors really serve to or disserve them in a way of preventing them from really experience deep and profound intimacy in the way that they truly desire at their core. I can tell you through working with these individuals, if he wanted to, he would, does not apply for people with an avoidant attachment style. Plenty of these people carry torches for partners that they had years ago and yet refuse to do anything to correct or repair the partnership because their fears are so intense when it comes to closeness. So what does this mean for you if you're someone who is dealing with someone who's inconsistent with you and who's breadcrumbing, maybe is hot and cold with you, but you feel this powerful depth of connection? It means to be compassionate with yourself first and foremost. Just because someone is showing up in inconsistent ways does not mean that you are inconsequential or meaningless to them. I say this because I oftentimes see people who are on the receiving end of these relationships really internalize the other person's behaviors and make it about them not being enough, and make it about the person just not caring about them. And in reality, yes, in some cases that is true, but in many cases, it's not that the person doesn't care about them. It's that the person is so terrified of looking at themselves, of having to do the work to correct some of these defensive patterns, because in doing so, they would feel like they were putting down their armor, which has protected them for, in many cases, decades. Being compassionate with yourself means developing strong boundaries with these people. You can be compassionate with them and realize that their behaviors have nothing to do with you, while also acknowledging that in order to build a house, you need someone present in the building. So at the end of the day, it's not if he wanted to, he would. It's if he wanted to, more than he was afraid of doing the work.